When Dad died, I lost everything, the house, the savings, the car. But worst of all, I lost it to my own brother. So I decided to take something back. Not what he stole, something he never saw coming. Olivia stood alone at her father's gravesite. David, her half-brother from her dad's first marriage, was dressed in an expensive suit, giving a polished speech to people he barely knew. They hadn't spoken in months, but that afternoon, David pulled her aside and handed her a sealed envelope. Dad changed the will. He said quietly, "Everything goes to me." His lawyer confirmed it. Olivia stared at him. Why would he do that? I was his caregiver. I lived with him. I'm sorry. It was his decision, but she knew her father better than anyone, and she knew this will wasn't real. 2 weeks later, Olivia returned to the house. The locks had been changed. A private property sign hung on the gate. The bank account her father had promised would help her through school? Emptied, the vintage 1969 Mustang. Gone, sold, according to the neighbor. David didn't just take the inheritance. He erased her existence from their father's legacy. He doesn't want the house, she whispered. He wants the story, the spotlight, the control. She didn't cry. She took a breath and began planning. Her father was a quiet man, but never careless. Olivia started digging through old emails, safe box receipts, and family albums she still had. One folder stood out. Legacy inside, she found a video message dated 2 weeks before his final hospital visit. A scanned copy of an older will with her name clearly listed and a scribbled note. If he pulls something, go to Vince. Vince was her father's old accountant. And he hated David. Vince didn't hesitate. Said David insisted on taking care of it privately. I knew something was off. Your dad asked me to update his will, then cancel the meeting the next day. He leaned back. And your dad never signed that version. I'd bet my license on it. Olivia felt cold fire in her veins. So it was forged, absolutely. Olivia didn't go to the police. She didn't take it to court. David wanted to own their father's legacy. So she decided to expose him publicly, but not through tabloids or social media. She'd use his own ego against him, because David had just launched something big. A podcast about legacy, success, and rebuilding broken families, and he had no idea what Olivia was about to leak into his perfect little empire. He thought I'd crawl away with nothing, but I left with the one thing he can't survive, the truth. He stole my inheritance and rewrote our family's story. So I rewrote his, and I let his own audience watch him fall. David didn't just take the house, he took the spotlight. He launched a podcast called Legacy Engine, preaching family values, entrepreneurship, and resilience. He painted himself as a self-made man from a broken home who picked up the pieces. Olivia. She was lost in grief. He once said in an interview, I handled things. I rebuilt what was left, gracefully, cleanly, and completely fabricated. Olivia didn't go after the podcast directly. She went after the network that produced it. Under a pseudonym, she pitched herself as a PR intern background in content strategy, fluent in analytics, obsessed with the show. She got the job. Within 2 weeks, she had back-end access. Audio files, editorial calendars, guest scheduling lists. And then she found it, an upcoming tribute episode about their father. Perfect, she whispered. Let's honor him. Properly, Olivia prepared a package. The original, legally valid will, a sworn statement from Vince, the family accountant, her father's pre-recorded message, and a cleanly edited clip of David contradicting himself into different episodes. She anonymously leaked the bundle to one of his biggest podcast guests, a journalist who prided herself on exposing hypocrisy in the self-help space. She also uploaded the real will to a public blockchain archive, time-stamped, immutable. Within hours, the journalist emailed David's producer, "Your boy's preaching legacy while faking one. Expect a piece by Friday." Episode 49 of Legacy Engine aired as scheduled, but the comments turned instantly. This is the guy who stole his sister's inheritance. Fake will? Seriously. Receipts don't lie. David tried to post a rebuttal video, emotional, deflective, vague. But Olivia had already queued up one more leak. An audio clip of David laughing at how easy it was to rewrite a will when no one else watching. It went viral. The network pulled sponsorship within 48 hours. That night, Olivia received a text from David. David, what did you do? She typed back slowly. Olivia, I told the truth. You just weren't ready for it to echo. He built a platform on lies. I just gave his audience a clearer microphone. He locked me out of my father's house with a forged will. Now I hold the keys legally, publicly, and forever. The house wasn't just bricks and drywall. It held Olivia's childhood. Her late father's laughter. Her entire life. David didn't just steal it, he gutted it. Painted over the old walls, replaced furniture. Hung his own smug photos everywhere. But after the viral collapse of his podcast empire, Olivia had momentum and evidence. She returned to Vince, the accountant. Let's go to court, she said, quietly. Let him think no one's watching. The probate court wasn't glamorous. Just dull carpet, a quiet judge, and a file folder that said everything. David didn't even show up for the final hearing. The judge reviewed the real will, the accountant's statement, and the chain of custody Olivia provided. This is clear forgery, he ruled. The estate legally belongs to Ms. Olivia Grant. One gavel hit, a door reopened. Olivia returned to the house the next morning with a locksmith and 2 witnesses. As the last old lock clicked open, she stood in the doorway. The air smelled like David's cologne and cold arrogance. She opened the windows, let the wind blow out every lie. Then she walked into her father's study, still on the shelf, the watch he gave her on her 18th birthday, and touched. You kept the trophies, David, she whispered. But I kept the soul. That evening, David arrived, unaware of the court ruling. He stormed up the driveway. You can't be here. Olivia calmly handed him a copy of the judge's order. Actually, you can't be here. She watched his mouth open, then close. You turned them all against me. No, Olivia replied. You did that all by yourself. I just showed them what was already there. David left without another word. And Olivia changed the final lock herself. He wanted to erase me. Instead, I erased every trace of him from our father's house and from the story he tried to steal. He thought legacy was something you steal. But real legacy is what you leave behind for others. With the house finally hers, Olivia stood in the foyer and asked herself a question. What would Dad want this place to become? It wasn't just about getting even anymore. It was about building something that couldn't be faked, edited, or stolen. She started small, a reading corner with his old books, a wall of photos from their life before the betrayal, and one empty frame labeled, "The moment you took it back." Cleaning out the attic, Olivia discovered a locked box. Inside, her father's handwritten letters, early drafts of the will, all naming her one sealed envelope labeled, "For when you're ready to lead." The letter inside wasn't about money. Legacy isn't what you leave behind, leave. It's what you build while you're still here. If you're reading this, then I know you're ready to lead, not follow. She cried for the first time since the funeral, not out of grief, but gratitude. With the help of Vince and a few community friends, Olivia set up a small nonprofit inside the house dedicated to financial literacy, estate planning, and helping families protect what they build. She named it the Grant House. Every week, people walked through the doors, people just like her. And with every story they shared, her father's legacy grew louder, stronger, real. Months later, David returned. Not with rage, not with apologies, just a blank stare. You really did it, he said, looking around. You turned it into something real. No, Olivia replied. Dad did. I just stopped you from erasing it. He walked out quietly and never returned. He stole my inheritance and left me with nothing. But I took that nothing and turned it into everything my father believed in. That's legacy, not what you take, what you build.